Hello, Math 3 students. I don't usually do this webcam thing, but I thought I would try it just to see how I like it today. Let me make sure I've got my microphone on. So this is just a short supplemental video because I had left this part out of your quadratic review and wanted to come back to it. And so this is page 3. You have a couple problems like this on your classwork today, so I just wanted to make sure that I did cover this with you. On page 2B of your classwork, numbers 12 and 13 are these types of problems. And so this is on page 3, number 8, A, B, and C. So I just want to go through this really quickly with you. So if you don't have the graph in front of you and you don't have the equation in front of you and you're just given some information about the points, you can write the equation from that information. So let's look at number 8A. Write the equation of the graph in intercept form. So it wants it in intercept or factored form. And we're given the points 4, 0 and negative 8, 0. So first of all, I want to look at those 2 points. These are X-intercepts. So it's a quadratic, so it has these 2 X-intercepts. And I remember that my equation is going to be y equals a times, and then I've got these 2 binomials here because it's factored. And the first one is x minus 4, this root, so x minus 4. And then the second one is x minus negative 8, which is x plus 8, of course. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is fill in those two X-intercepts, 2 roots. And then I need to find out what a equals. So sometimes a is just 1. And other times, you know, you've got that vertical stretch or the compression. And so we need to figure out what a equals. Well, we've also been given a third point on the graph, and we're going to use that third point to figure out what a is. Because we have an x given to us and a y given to us, we can fill in the x and the y here and leave the a as the only unknown, and then we can just solve for a. So if I fill in a negative 36 for y, leave the a, the unknown, and then fill in a negative 10 for both of the x's, then I can solve for a because I'll just do the math and then solve for a. So I still have negative 36 equals a. Now negative 10 minus 4 is negative 14, and negative 10 plus 8 is negative 2. So then I've got, let's see, negative 36 equals a times 28. Now, I'm going to just divide by 28 on both sides. So a equals negative 36 over 28. And of course, I'm going to divide those by 4. And so that's going to be negative 9/7. And then I have all the components that I need to write my equation in intercept form. I have y equals, and then I just plug in my a. And you know, I want it left in fraction form because that's what you'll see a lot of times on your exam. And then I've got the x minus 4 and the x plus 8. So this would be your answer in intercept or factored form. The biggest thing here is just finding out what a equals and then just putting that right back into your original equation that you wrote. Okay, the next one, 8b, says write the equation of the graph in vertex form. It gives us the vertex, so that makes it a lot easier. We don't have to do any converting from one form to another here. We just write it in with the vertex and then find a again. So remember that vertex form is y equals, and then we're going to take the opposite of this number. I was a little bit confusing, I'm sure, on your previous video, and I apologize for that. It is x minus h, where h is the x term. So it is going to be, in parentheses, x minus 4. If it was a negative 4, it would be x minus negative 4, which is x plus 4. That's why I said just take the opposite of that number. Okay, and then you've got the exponent of 2, and then your vertex, your y coordinate, your y coordinate is the 1. Okay, so I'm also given that the y-intercept is at 9, which means that that point is 0, 9. So then again, I forgot my A, sorry. My A goes right there, squeeze that in. So now I can plug in the 0 and the 9 where the X and the Y are. So 9 goes in for Y, and then 0 goes in for X. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 1 over here and get 8 equals A times 0 minus 4 is -4. -4 squared is 16. So, and of course the reason I subtracted 1 over here is because I can't divide by 16 without first moving that 1 over here on this side. So now I need to divide by 16 on both sides, and A equals 1/2. So then I just go back to my original equation, put that 1/2 in for A, and that is what they're looking for. 1/2 X minus 4 squared plus 1. All right, we had one more on this page, 8C. If you're given the graph, what you want to look for is, first of all, I can see this is my y-axis and this is my x-axis. So here's an x-intercept right here, and here's one right here, and they're on points where the vertical and the horizontal lines cross, so I can see exactly what they are. So if this here is 0, 0, then this would be 0, -1, and I said that backwards, -1, 0, and then this would be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 0. Okay, I also have a point right here that I can identify, and that is at 2, 3. Okay, they want this in standard form, so we're going to get it in factored form and then rewrite it in standard form. So let's see, we have our x-intercepts, so that would be y equals A times x plus 1 and x minus 3. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find out what A equals, then I'm going to rewrite the original equation, then multiply everything out to get standard form. So I'm going to plug in the 2 right here, this 2 for the x's, and the 3 for the y. So 3 equals A times 2 plus 1 and 2 minus 3. 3 equals A times, that's 3 times -1, -3. Divide both sides by -3. A equals -1. So my original equation, I'm just going to rewrite it. -1 and then x plus 1 and x minus 3. And then I just need to multiply everything out. So let's do, be easier probably do our binomials and then multiply everything by -1. So y equals -1, and then this is going to be x squared minus 2x minus 3. Then I just need to multiply by -1 through. Y equals -x squared plus 2x plus 3. And let me check my key just to make sure I did everything right. Yep, looks like I did. And so this would be standard form. All right, so that was it. So hopefully that will help with your classwork. I forgot what numbers it was. Let's see. Numbers 12 and 13.